Guybrush Threepwood, Mighty Jedi. Greetings, my name is Tommy the Keyblade Master, and welcome back to Star Wars Week on my channel. As you know, I'm reviewing a bunch of Star Wars games this week. Yesterday, I reviewed a Star Wars game that, in my opinion, was a bit of a turd. While not god-awful by any means, Star Wars The Force Unleashed was a bit of a frustrating experience. It had some cool powers, but wonky aiming, and just the fact that I had to get its challenge from being overly frustrating in parts brought the enjoyment down. Now I'm going to review its much more maligned sequel, The Force Unleashed 2. A lot of people hate this game, but I actually found it just a little bit better than the first one. The aiming is better, a lot of the more confusing and convoluted areas of the stage designs have been fixed, falling into holes on the heavier platforming areas do not result in the huge penalty of instant death, and there are actually checkpoints this time. So why does everyone hate this game so much? Well, it goes with the story being really lame, and I mean even lamer than the first one, and there's not that much of a game here. Alright, let's get on with the story here. Now, if you did not play through the original Star Wars Force Unleashed, I'm going to give you a little bit of a plot spoiler. The game ends with Starkiller giving his life in order to protect his newly formed Rebel Alliance. Now Darth Vader is out to fix his mistake of creating the Rebel Alliance by discrediting its creator, his old apprentice Starkiller. How is he going to do that? By creating an obedient clone slave of Starkiller. However, that clone can't kill a hologram of Starkiller's former lover Juno, so Vader says, screw it, this one's a failure, and decides to scrap him. Clone says, screw you, takes a few lightsabers, kills a few hundred stormtroopers, and escapes the cloning facility. From there, he goes off looking for his old friends, especially Juno, and trying to find out if he's a clone, the original Starkiller, or something else entirely. Now, if I complained about the story of the last one being a little bit stupid, this one goes into full-sided idiocy. And the game's ending, at least on the light side, has a cliffhanger, as Vader is actually captured and being sent to interrogate and executed by the Rebel Alliance. Yes, that fits in so well with the other Star Wars movies, doesn't it? Yes, they were actually sequel baiting with this ending. Unfortunately, this game bombed. Disney bought out Lucas, which shut off LucasArts, and there's about as much chance of this series getting a third installment as there is one where we will see this character again. Well, the gameplay has been improved quite a bit since the original. You start off with a lot more of your force powers, and you have a lot more of your saber skills right off the bat, and they're even included in the tutorials, so you know that you'll have them, which is great for people like me who are too big of a nitwit to even realize I even had some of these abilities in the original game. There was a lot of times I got frustrated that knowing that I could put lightning skills on my sword would have been useful, but it's never really explained in the original. So the tutorials are definitely better. That said, I do have one comment to make. Starkiller is now a dual wielder, but he still likes to hold the lightsaber behind his back. Excuse me, but holding two very hot laser swords that are known to amputate limbs like a hot knife through butter seems like a bad idea to hold them behind your back. It sounds like you're just asking for an accidental amputation. Yeesh, he's gonna need a medical droid for that one. Anyways, now that you're a dual wielder, your combos will be bigger, and I found it a lot more fun to cut through the Sith and Stormtroopers with them than I did the last game. And while having all your abilities from the get-go is a good thing, especially learning the combos in the game early on makes it easier, that says it also adds to a disappointment in this game, and that is the lack of customization you got from the original game has been toned down a whole lot. You still get to level up, you still get to select what force powers you want to increase, but it's done very basic, very simple now. And if you're someone who really likes to customize your character, this is going to be a big disappointment for you. While I enjoyed the more simplicity of the battle system and getting everything from the get-go, I can understand players' frustration who want to customize their own Jedi and have them unleashed havoc will be a bit disappointed because you now have everything from the start for the most part and leveling up. And while I don't mind the grinding being cut down, having the customization not be there does take a little bit of the fun out of it, and I can understand people's complaints about it. Now, with that said, I do also like the fact that this game has a better lock-on system. The original game was kind of a mess. I'd oftentimes end up hitting the guy that was behind the guy I wanted to shock and instantly get hit because that guy would catch up and hurt me because I hit the wrong target. That happens still in this game, but it's a lot less frequent. There's also more checkpoints, so if you die, you're never set too far back, unlike the original. And there's a lot less instant kill deaths that you got in the original. So overall, this is a far less frustrating game than the original. Another thing they added to this game that I kind of liked is as you do combat, you will fill up a super bar, and then when you activate, Starkiller will have unlimited force power, plus be able to control his lightsabers telepathically, and it does kind of remind me of another game when he fights like this. His fighting form and the way that he uses his lightsabers is very similar to the way Sora uses his dual keyblades in the final form. It just seems that way, at least to me. So it's kind of nice to see LucasArts did fire a few back at Square Enix for all the references. But it might just be a coincidence. So what is the chief complaint against this game? Well, with the customization kind of skinned down, it has another problem. There's not many stages. Now, I don't know if this game is actually really that much shorter than the original, or if it just feels that way, because the stages that there are huge, but there's not many of them. There's only 4. We have the Camino cloning facility. We have this kind of sky cloud city that you have to rescue the general. Then we make a very, very brief stop at Dagobah, mainly for a cutscene and an unneeded cameo by Yoda. Hi, Yoda! Bye, Yoda! Then we get a stage on board the ship that takes freaking forever. And then we're back on the clone planet again, so we can have our final fight with Vader. Again, that's only 4 or 5 stages, because that Yoda cameo stage is done in like 2 minutes. And it just makes this game feel short because there's not many different environments or anything to really explore. The original game had some cool areas to explore. You had Cloud City, you had the Junk Planet, and you had this Forest Planet. And even though they repeated those stages, you always felt like you were moving or doing something new. Here it's just, like I said, 4 extremely large set pieces. And because they're so large, it makes me not want to have to go through them again. And because of that, it just really cuts this game's replay value down till none. So therefore, in a lot of ways, it is a shorter game than the original, even if the time playing through probably isn't that big of a difference. Graphically, this game is a little bit better than its predecessor. At least when it comes to the character designs and the faces, they do look better. The environments are okay, but there's just not much to them. The rain and the cloning facilities is a nice touch, but again, there aren't many areas in this game, so you don't really see a whole lot of detail or get caught up with the environment. Or I should say, in some cases, the environments become just so dull to look at because you're stuck in each area for so long. You do get sick of seeing the inside of the ship after a while. There aren't as many bugs in this game when it comes to graphical glitches compared to the original, and I never had too much trouble with the camera, so that area is good too. Overall, it's a small improvement, but nothing to really write home about. As for the sound goes, it's the same great voice actors working on this that did the original, and there is no problem with the performance. Music and sound effects also the same as the original, and it's really great Star Wars sounding stuff and music. I'm not going to play any because I think I'll probably get hit with the Content ID flag for doing so.
Pull off an attack like this without your help.
Anyways, like its predecessor, I give this game a 3 out of 5. The sad part is between Star Wars The Force Unleashed and the problems with its sequel, you have a really great game. Have a game that has as many areas to explore, as good a storyline, even if it is silly, as the original Force Unleashed. Combine it with some of the simpler combos and having a lot more stuff available to you at the beginning, and you'll have a really great game. Unfortunately, both games miss the mark and come off merely as average at best. On GameStop's website, they sell this game for $20 used. I would not buy it for that much. I bought this game during a digital sale for $5, and that's about the price I would recommend it for, between $5 to $10. So you might want to hold off buying a retail copy if it's costing you that much, in my opinion. Now, on the good side, I do need to mention this before I sign off. It does have Guybrush Threepwood as a cameo character, and I like the fact that you can wear that costume. It's kind of a great shout out to Monkey Island. And Monkey Island is probably a series that's not going to be continued under the Disney brand. I don't really see Disney having a use for that series, which is unfortunate because I love Monkey Island. Anyways, this is Tommy the Keyblade Master, thanking you for watching. If you want more of my Star Wars content, feel free to click subscribe. Anyways, tomorrow I'm going to be reviewing a different type of Star Wars game. It's time to go Lego.